Welcome to Trench Talk. We about to dive into all the gang-related news, stories, and history. So you know the drill, like comment, share, and smash that bell so you don't miss when we drop something fresh. All right, folks, buckle up. Things are heating up again in the FBG Duck case, and it looks like the story isn't quite over yet. If y'all thought the trial was the end of the road, think again. Remember when Mama Duck, FBG Duck's mother, warned everyone? She told us it wasn't over, and it seems like she wasn't just talking. This time, it might be more serious than anyone anticipated. And yes, the name Lil Durk is popping up again. So, what's really going on? After diving deep into this latest article, a few things stood out to me. And let me tell you, it's looking like there could be something brewing behind the scenes. Now, I'm not here to say anything is 100% confirmed, but reading between the lines, you might start wondering if a RICO case could be looming over Lil Durk's head. Let's just say he ain't off the hook just yet. Mama Duck was loud and clear when she spoke before. She consistently said that there were more people involved in her son's death, and she believed that more arrests would be made. Back then, it seemed like just speculation, but now, maybe not so far-fetched. If you pay attention to this article, they're hinting at a lot without outright saying it. There are even mentions of ODF being labeled as a criminal enterprise, and that's some heavy language to be throwing around, especially in the world of rap and law enforcement. One of the most shocking revelations is the alleged $100,000 bounty placed on FBG Duck's life, reportedly by none other than the late King Von. However, there's a twist. Some sources have speculated that it might not have been Von at all, but Durk's brother, D-Tang, who allegedly played a role in putting out that bounty. So, who's really behind it? The streets talk, but the details are murky. Still, with 6 O-Block members already convicted of Duck's murder earlier this year, you have to wonder how much more will come to light. But here's where things get even more interesting and a little broader than just one case. This lawsuit is taking aim at something much bigger than just Lil Durk or even ODF. It's targeting the entire drill music scene. The lawsuit claims that labels profited from the gang wars that fueled the music, with drill culture glorifying violence, crime, and death. And let's be real, in the world of drill music, if you're not talking that street talk, nobody's trying to hear you. They're even going after record labels themselves, suggesting that companies should be held accountable for what their artists are putting out. This is a major development, y'all. If record labels start getting held responsible for their artists' actions, especially in a genre where street credibility often equals record sales, this could change the game entirely. The lawsuit wants to send a clear message to the music industry. If you're going to profit off violent, dangerous content, you need to make sure that content isn't causing harm in the real world. Think about that for a minute. They're not just calling out the artists. They're going after the entire system that pushes drill music into the mainstream, from Universal Music Group to anyone affiliated with ODF. This isn't just about holding individual artists accountable. This is about making record labels recognize their responsibility in promoting music that can have deadly consequences. The drill scene thrives on realness. If you're not living what you rap about, nobody's interested. But what happens when that realness starts spilling over into real-world violence and people die as a result? So what's next? Are we about to see more arrests tied to the FBG Duck case? Could Lil Durk be facing more scrutiny, even after the trial? And what will this mean for drill culture as a whole if the labels get pulled into the courtroom? One thing's for sure, this case is far from over. The lawsuit is making waves, and it could be a game changer for how the music industry operates, especially when it comes to a genre as controversial as drill, pushed to hold record labels accountable for the content their artists produce. The claim here is that these labels are profiting from music that glorifies violence. And not just glorifying it, but feeding into real-world gang wars. The drill scene, specifically, is being called out as a culture of crime and death. Let's be real. If your lyrics don't reflect the streets, nobody's listening, right? But now, that's coming back to bite everyone involved. Imagine a world where record labels are held responsible for the destructive content they push. These companies have a massive influence on what their artists say, and if that influence is leading to real-world harm, is it time they face consequences too? The article is suggesting exactly that, with the idea that if labels continue promoting this dangerous music, they should share in the blame when things go wrong. This is a huge development that could change how the entire drill music industry operates. But there's more. Let's shift gears to the day of FBG Duck's murder. One of the major issues raised from the very start was the delay in medical care. Duck was lying on the ground, fighting for his life for an agonizing 17 minutes before receiving medical attention. A man who's been shot multiple times in the neck, groin, and other parts of his body should have gotten help much faster. It's chilling to think that had help arrived sooner, he might still be alive today. This lawsuit, filed by Duck's family, takes things even further. Not only are they pointing the finger at Lil Durk and his record labels, but they're also calling out the city of Chicago itself for negligence and how long it took for Duck to receive treatment. This lawsuit could be the beginning of a much larger movement. If successful, we could see real accountability coming to the music industry, with labels forced to take responsibility for the chaos their artists sometimes help perpetuate. But Mama Duck needs to tread carefully. As noble as this lawsuit might be, she's shaking the table in a way that's bound to make some powerful people uncomfortable. When you start messing with major labels' money, things can get tricky. These companies won't back down easily, especially when their profits are on the line. But make no mistake, this lawsuit is a bold move that could lead to some significant changes, not just for Duck's family, but for the whole drill scene and the way the music industry operates. If record labels begin to feel the heat for pushing music that glorifies violence, we might actually see a shift in the culture. As it stands, drill artists feel compelled to back up their words with action, or at least make their lyrics seem as real as possible. It's a cycle that's been feeding violence on the streets, and this lawsuit could be the start of holding the right people accountable. Y'all might remember when Lil Cohen, a music industry heavyweight, went on The Breakfast Club and admitted that, yeah, the drugs and violence being promoted are harmful, but hey, I got mouths to feed. That was Cohen, the head of YouTube Music, straight up admitting that he prioritizes profit over people's lives. And if this lawsuit has its way, those days of turning a blind eye could be over. So what's next? Could this lawsuit lead to a complete overhaul of how drill music and its consequences are handled? Will the labels be forced to take responsibility for the chaos they help fuel? It's a wild world we're stepping into. And if this case moves forward, we could be looking at a much-needed reckoning in the music industry. Stay tuned. We'll be diving even deeper into this case as more details unfold. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated. This is one story you don't want to miss, and it might just change the game for good.